है आप में से पहला
चौधरी अमृत।
क्या टॉपिक है आपका?
फायर प्रोग्रेस, फायर एंड आइस।
You will talk about the poet. Okay, Amrat, introduce yourself and speak.
My name is Chowdhury Amraj. My group name Fire and Crash.
Come on, speak.
Introduction. અગ્નિ અને બરફ રોબર્ટ ફ્રોસ્ટની સૌથી પ્રખ્યાત લઘુ કવિતાઓમાંથી એક છે. રોબર્ટ ફ્રોસ્ટ એક અમેરિકન કવિ હતા જેમની સરળ ભાષામાં ઊંડા વિચારો વ્યક્ત કરવાની ક્ષમતા માટે વ્યાપક પ્રશંસા થતી હતી. માત્ર 9 લીટીની આ કવિતામાં માનવ સ્વભાવ, લાગણી અને સંભવિત વિશ્વના અંત જેવા ગહન વિષયોની શોધ કરવામાં આવી છે. કવિતામાં કુદરતના બે શક્તિશાળી તત્વો અગ્નિ અને બરફની તુલના બે તેટલી શક્તિશાળી માનવીય લાગણી, ઈચ્છા અને નફરત સાથે કરવામાં આવી છે. ફ્રોસ્ટ આ પ્રશ્ન ઉઠાવે છે કે વિશ્વનો અંત કેવી રીતે આવી શકે છે. કવિ દ્વારા આપણને માનવીય લાગણીઓનો વિનાશ શક્તિ વિશે વિચારવા મજબૂર કરે છે. લેખક વિશેષ રોબર્ટ લી ફ્રોસ્ટ ના એક અમેરિકન કવિ હતા જે પ્રકૃતિ અને માનવ જીવન સાથેના તેમના ઊંડા જોડાણ માટે જાણીતા છે. સન ફ્રાન્સિસ્કોમાં જન્મેલા તેઓ પાછળથી ન્યૂ ઇંગ્લેન્ડ ગયા. તેઓ સાહિત્યમાં તેમના યોગદાન માટે તેમને 1960માં કોંગ્રેસથી ગોલ્ડ મેડલ દ્વારા એનાયત કરવામાં આવ્યા.
अमृत, ठीक से बोलो आखिरी 2 सेंटेंस. आखिरी 2 सेंटेंस ठीक से बोलो.
લેખક વિશેષ રોબર્ટ લી ફ્રોસ્ટના એક અમેરિકન કવિ હતા જે પ્રકૃતિ અને માનવ જીવન સાથેના તેમના ઊંડા જોડાણ માટે જાણીતા હતા. સાન ફ્રાન્સિસ્કોમાં જન્મેલા તેઓ પાછળથી ન્યૂ ઇંગ્લેન્ડ ગયા. તેઓ સાહિત્યમાં તેમના યોગદાન માટે તેમને 1960માં કોંગ્રેસથી ગોલ્ડ મેડલ દ્વારા એનાયત કરવામાં આવ્યા.
बराबर है. तो चलो पोएट की टाइप से क्या समझे आप? ये तो आपने पढ़ा ना न्यूज़पेपर में जरा. ये आप क्या समझ के आए हो? नहीं बोलोगे तो उस तरह से मार्क्स करेंगे, बोलोगे तो उस तरह से मिलेगा, है ना? आप पर डिपेंड करता है. Don't want to speak, it is up to you. So who is the next speaker? Vivek. Okay, speak.
કવિતા વિશેષ અગ્નિ અને બરફ ફક્ત 9 પંક્તિઓમાં વિનાશ અને વિશ્વના અંતમાં વિષયને આબેહૂબ રીતે યાદ કરે છે. જેને ટૂંકીતા હોવા છતાં પણ કવિતાનો તેના સ્વરિત અર્થને કારણે કાયમી પ્રભાવ પડે છે. અગ્નિ તીવ્ર ઈચ્છાઓ, લોભ, વાસના અને અનિયંત્રિત મહત્વાકાંક્ષાનું પ્રતિનિધિત્વ કરે છે. બરફ નફરતતા, ઉદાસીનતા, ઈર્ષ્યા અને ઠંડા દિલનું પ્રતિનિધિત્વ કરે છે. હિમ સૂચવે છે કે આમાંથી કોઈ પણ ચરમસીમા વ્યક્તિ અને સમગ્ર વિશ્વ બંને માટે વિનાશ લાવી શકે છે. કવિ સંપૂર્ણપણે લાગણીઓનો પ્રશ્ન લેતા નથી. તે કહે છે કે તેણે ઈચ્છાઓનો અનુભવ કર્યો છે અને જેથી તેઓ આગની તરફે કરે છે. તેમને સાથે સંમત થાય છે કે નફરત વિનાશ લાવવા એટલી શક્તિશાળી છે. કવિતાનો પાઠ અને શબ્દાવલી કેટલા કહે છે કે દુનિયા અગ્નિમાં સમાપ્ત થશે, કેટલા કહે છે બરફમાં જો જે ઈચ્છા સહાર રાખે છે તેના પછી હું અગ્નિ દર્શન તેમની સાથે છું, પરંતુ તેને 2 વાર નાશ કરવો પડે છે. મને લાગે છે કે હું નફરત વિશે પૂરતું જાણું છું. વિનાશ માટે બરફ કહેવું તે પણ મહાન છે. અગ્નિ ઈર્ષ્યા, લોભ, ગુસ્સો, વાસના અને તીવ્ર લાગણીનું પ્રતીક છે. જેમ અનિયંત્રિત અગ્નિ બધું બાળી શકે છે, તેમ માનવ ઈચ્છાઓ વિનાશ પર દોરી શકે છે. બરફ નફરત, ચિત્રતા, ઈર્ષ્યા અને ઉદાસીનતાનું પ્રતીક છે. બરફ ભાવનાત્મક અંતર, કરતા અને ઉદાસીનતાનું પ્રતિનિધિત્વ કરે છે, જે સંબંધો, સમાજ અને વિશ્વનો પણ નાશ કરી શકે છે. આ રચનામાં કવિ ઘણી બધી વાત પર ભાર મૂકે છે, જેમ કે વિનાશ અને સાક્ષાત્કાર, માનવ લાગણી વિરોધી સંતુલન, જીવનનું દર્શન, સાહિત્યિક ઉપકરણ વગેરે. આ ટૂંકી કવિતામાં ઉદાહરણ આપવા માટે અનેક કાવ્યાત્મક ઉપકરણનો ઉપયોગ કરે છે. અગ્નિ અને બરફ મજબૂત દ્રશ્ય છબીઓ બનાવે છે.
ओके तो आपके तब ये अग्नि और क्या मतलब है उसका? कविता अग्नि और बर्फ के बारे में है, हाँ किसी और के बारे में है? बहुत इजी क्वेश्चन कर रहा हूँ मैं। कहाँ से आए हो? जोर से बोलो। हमारा आप कहाँ से आए हो? ये परफॉर्मेंस करने के लिए ना बोल रहे हो और परफॉर्मेंस तो वही कर रहे हो। कौन है? कश्यप। कौन है? ओके कश्यप वो है।
નિષ્કર્ષ રોબર્ટ ફ્રોસ્ટની આગ અને બરફ વિશ્વના અંત વિશેની કવિતા કરતાં વધુ છે. તે માનવતા માટે રાખવામાં આવેલ અરીસો છે. સરળ છતાં શક્તિશાળી છબી દ્વારા આપણને અનિયંત્રિત ઈચ્છા અને અનિયંત્રિત નફરતના જોખમો વિશે ચેતવણી આપે છે. તે દર્શાવે છે કે વિનાશ ફક્ત બાહ્ય આફતોનો વિષય નથી, પણ માનવ સ્વભાવનો ઊંડે સુધી મૂળ ધરાવે છે.
क्या हुआ? मार्क्स नहीं चाहिए? फिर से बोलो।
રોબર્ટ ફ્રોસ્ટનું આગ અને બરફ વિશ્વના અંત વિશેની કવિતા કરતાં વધુ છે. તે માનવતા માટે રાખવામાં આવેલ અરીસો છે. સરળ છતાં શક્તિશાળી છબી દ્વારા ફ્રોસ્ટ આપણને અનિયંત્રિત ઈચ્છા અને અનિયંત્રિત નફરતના જોખમો વિશે ચેતવણી આપે છે. તે દર્શાવે છે કે વિનાશ ફક્ત બાહ્ય આફતોનો વિષય નથી, પણ માનવ સ્વભાવનો ઊંડે સુધી મૂળ ધરાવે છે.
अनियंत्रित इच्छा और
અનિયંત્રિત નફરત.
अनियंत्रित इच्छा मतलब क्या होता है?
જ્યારે પટેલ
ओके चलो तालियां बजाओ उनके लिए। चलो आप लोग यहाँ पे एंट्री कर लो और आप जा सकते हो। चलो नेक्स्ट ग्रुप को हमने चलो फटाफट हरी आप अगर आपके साथ में पार्टनर नहीं आए तो आप अकेले भी कर सकते हो। क्या नाम है आपका? क्रिश। क्या टॉपिक है?
Plot of the story.
ऐसा कौन सी शॉर्ट स्टोरी नाम है कहानी का?
The Nightingale and the Rose by
ओके क्रिश
Hello everyone, good morning. My name is Rajiv. My group name is the Song of the Rose. Topic plot of the short story. એક વાર્તા એક યુવાન વિદ્યાર્થીની છે જે ખૂબ જ વાંચનાર, સમજદાર અને સંવેદનશીલ છે. તે એક સુંદર છોકરી પ્રોફેસરની પુત્રી જે ખૂબ પ્રેમ કરે છે. તે છોકરીને પોતાની ભાવના વ્યક્ત કરવા માંગે છે. એક દિવસ છોકરી કહે છે કે જો તે એને નૃત્ય માટે બોલાવવા માંગે છે તો તેને પહેલા લાલ ગુલાબ લાવવો પડશે. યુવાન વિદ્યાર્થીની બગીચામાં એક પણ લાલ ગુલાબ ન હતો. તે ખૂબ જ દુઃખી થઈ જાય છે અને આંગણે બેસીને રડવા લાગે છે. આ રડવાનો અવાજ નજીકના વૃક્ષ પર બેઠેલી નાઇટિંગેલ સાંભળે છે. નાઇટિંગેલ પ્રેમમાં વિશ્વની તરાજી લખે છે. તે માનતી છે કે પ્રેમ દુનિયાની સૌથી પવિત્ર અને સુંદર લાગણી છે. તે વિદ્યાર્થીની પીડા જોઈને તેને મદદ કરવાનો નિર્ણય કરે છે. નાઇટિંગેલ બગીચાના બધા ગુલાબના છોડ પાસે જાય છે. પહેલા સફેદ ગુલાબનો છોડ કહે છે કે તે મદદ નથી કરી શકતો. પછી પીળા ગુલાબનો છોડ પણ નકારી દે છે. અંતે લાલ ગુલાબનો છોડ કહે છે કે એક જ રસ્તો છે. નાઇટિંગેલને પોતાની છાતી ટાંકામાં ચોટી રાખવી પડશે અને પોતાના હૃદયના લોહીથી ગુલાબને લાલ રંગ આપવો પડશે. આ પ્રક્રિયામાં તેનો જીવ જશે. નાઇટિંગેલ આ દરમિયાન બલિદાન આપવા માટે તૈયાર થઈ જાય છે, કારણ કે તેને સાચા પ્રેમમાં વિશ્વાસ છે. રાત્રે ચાંદનીમાં તે કાંટામાં પોતાની સાથે ચોટી રાખે છે અને મધુર ગીત ગાવા લાગે છે. જેમ જેમ તેમ ગીત ગા જેમ જેમ ગીત વાગે છે, ગુલાબની પાંખડીઓ ધીમે ધીમે લાલ થવા લાગે છે. ગુલાબની ખીલી જાય છે, પરંતુ નાઇટિંગેલનું જીવન સમાપ્ત થઈ જાય છે. તે પ્રેમ માટે પોતાનો જીવ આપી દે છે. સવાર થાય છે. વિદ્યાર્થી સુંદર લાલ ગુલાબને જોઈને આનંદિત થઈ જાય છે. તેને લાગે છે કે હવે તેનો પ્રેમ સફળ થશે. તે ગુલાબ છોકરી પાસે જાય છે અને આનંદપૂર્વક આપે છે, પરંતુ છોકરી ગુલાબને નકારી દે છે. તે કહે છે કે એક ધનિક યુવાને તેની કિંમતી હીરાની માળ આપી છે અને તેથી હવે લાલ ગુલાબનો કોઈ અર્થ નથી. વિદ્યાર્થી આ સાંભળી ખૂબ ગુસ્સે થઈ જાય છે. તે ગુલાબને રસ્તા પર ફેંકી દે છે. થોડા સમય પછી એક ગાડી ગુલાબ પરથી પસાર થાય છે અને ગુલાબ બદલાઈ જાય છે. આખરે વિદ્યાર્થી પ્રેમ પરનો વિશ્વાસ ગુમાવી દે છે અને કહે છે કે પ્રેમ ફક્ત સમયનો બગાડ છે. તે પાછો પોતાના પુસ્તકોમાં મર્ગ થઈ જાય છે.
ओके क्रिश, तो इस कहानी में किसी का बलिदान है? गुलाब का बलिदान है? गुलाब ने बलिदान दिया? इसका बलिदान है? नाइटिंगेल का। बलिदान दिया उसने?
साचा प्रेम।
ओके चलो, कौन है नेक्स्ट? क्या नाम है आपका?
हरीश, नमस्कार।
हरीश।
My topic moral meaning and message of the story. My group name the song of the rose. આ વાર્તામાં મુખ્ય સંદેશ છે કે સાચો પ્રેમ ત્યાગમાં છે. સ્વાર્થમાં નહીં. બુલબુલ પ્રેમ માટે મરી ગઈ, પણ એની કિંમત સમજાઈ નહોતી. દુનિયામાં ઘણા લોકો પ્રેમની વાત કરે છે, પણ સાચો પ્રેમ જેવો બુલબુલે બતાવ્યો એવો બહુ ઓછા લોકો પાસે હોય છે. વાર્તા આપણને શીખવે છે કે પ્રેમ ક્યારેય વસ્તુથી ખરી શકાય નહીં. સાચો પ્રેમ હૃદય દ્વારા થાય છે અને તેમાં કોઈ લાલચ નથી હોતી. બુલબુલ દાગમાં બતાવે છે કે સાચો પ્રેમ આપવામાં છે, મેળવવામાં નહીં. લેખક ઓસ્કાર વાઇલ્ડ આ વાર્તામાં બતાવવા માંગે છે કે માનવજાત પ્રેમની વાત કરે છે, પણ એની સચ્ચાઈ સમજે નહીં. વિદ્યાર્થી બુદ્ધિશાળી હોવા છતાં હૃદય ખાલી છે. તે બતાવે છે કે જ્ઞાનથી બધું મળતું નથી. પ્રેમ માટે હૃદય હોવું જોઈએ. આ કથામાં અંત દુઃખ જ છે, પણ તેમાં મોટી શીખ છે કે જિંદગીમાં સાચા પ્રેમ અને ત્યાગની કિંમત હંમેશા સમજવી જોઈએ. બુલબુલ જેમ વિશ્વ પ્રેમ માનવતા બતાવે છે.
आखिरी सेंटेंस जो बोला उसको एक्सप्लेन कर दो।
આ કથામાં અંત દુઃખ જ છે, પણ તેમાં મોટી શીખ છે કે જિંદગીમાં સાચા પ્રેમ અને ત્યાગની કિંમત હંમેશા સમજવી જોઈએ. બુલબુલની જેમ નિષ્કપટ પ્રેમ જ માનવતા બતાવે છે.
एक्सप्लेन करो। ओके चलो, क्लियर फॉर देम। आपने से डिप्यूटी किसको करना है? और एक और ग्रुप है ना, पहले से मौका दे देता है। क्या नाम है आपका?
दक्ष मुकेश कुमार प्रजापति।
सेकंड स्पीकर कौन है?
प्रजापति यश कुमार कांति भाई।
थर्ड स्पीकर
रावल।
नील।
रावल।
टॉपिक है आपका
The story of Pan by Sudama.
एंगल चेंज कर दो। थोड़ा बड़ा कर दो ऐसे। जो वोटिंग करता हूँ वही सही है। बड़ा कर दो। वेरी गुड। और थोड़ा बड़ा करो। और एक साइड पे रखो एक। ओके, नाउ वी कैन।
Good morning, guys. Today we are discussing about the story of Pan by Sudamati. And my group name is Mysterious Magic Group. My name is Mukesh Kumar Prajapati. I will discuss about meaning of title, major character, and minor character. Meaning of title. The title tells us the origin of Pan. It's a sad and beautiful story that explains why the main ingredient, the leaf, the nut, and the paste exist, saying they are a symbol of a family's strong love. The major character of this story, Banu, the good caring older brother who raised his younger brother. Bir, the younger brother who wanted to join the army. Bharti, Banu's kind wife. The minor characters of this story, Ajit, who is the grandmother in this story, the storytellers who narrates the legend of Pan to the children and adults. She emphasizes the importance of family bonds and the story's moral. Vishnu Kaka, the host who shares his box of Pan ingredients, which sparks the children's curiosity and Ajit's story. The next part will be discussed with Prajapati Yash Kumar Kantibai, which is the plot of story.
The story focuses on Ajay sharing a legend with the children to explain why pani is made with the perfect blend of three ingredients: bitter leaf, bitter nut, and lime. The legend tells of two loving brothers Banu and Veer and Banu's wife Bharti. After Veer leaves for war, Banu and Bharti die while searching for him, transforming into a tree and a creeper. Veer, upon recovering from his wound and learning their fate, turned into a statue of limestone. These three elements become the ingredient of pan, teaching people the value of love, unity and loyalty. इस कहानी में ऐसा कहा गया है कि जो थ्री कैरेक्टर है वो वन बाय वन मरते जा रहे हैं और वो पान के एक एक इंग्रेडिएंट्स बनते जा रहे हैं और वो हमें सिखाते हैं कि पान इंग्रेडिएंट के कारण हमें अच्छा लगता है और उसके कारण उसकी शान बढ़ती है। सो ये कहानी हमें सिखाना चाहती है कि लव, लॉयल्टी एंड यूनिटी के यूनिटी हो तो हम अलग हमारी पर्सनालिटी बना सकते हैं और कुछ भी काम हम आसान कर सकते हैं। और पान को पता होता है कि वो आखिर में वो मरने ही वाला है, फिर भी वो थ्री ब्लेंड ऑफ द इंग्रेडिएंट्स वो हमें अच्छा स्वाद प्रदान करते हैं। सो द मोरल ऑफ द प्लॉट ऑफ द स्टोरी इज कंप्लीट एंड द नेक्स्ट पार्ट डिस्कस द मिथ रावण।
The most important lesson is that family love, loyalty, and unity. The three ingredients Banu, Bharti, and we come together to show how to love. Loving family was united even after death. Just as the pan ingredients must be combined in a perfect combination to taste good, a family only thrives when all members are united. मतलब कि पान को भी जरूरत पड़ती है कि इंग्रेडिएंट्स की, तब वो टेस्ट अच्छा बनाता है और ऐसे ही तरह से फैमिली को चलाने के लिए सब मेंबर को साथ होना जरूरी है। थैंक यू।
ओके, क्लैप फॉर देम। चलिए, कैसा लगा आपको वहाँ प्रेजेंटेशन करके?
We are feeling good and confident.
कैसा लगा आपको?
कॉन्फिडेंट बढ़ गया।
दूसरी बार ट्राई करोगे?
Yes.
नेक्स्ट टाइम? ओके, नेक्स्ट टाइम कम अर्ली, ओके? चलो, वेरी गुड। सिट डाउन। नेक्स्ट चलो।
પાર્ટી અને ગ્રુપ.
અનિરુદ્ધ टॉपिक है आपका
Opening the skill line by Thomas More.
सेकंड कौन है पटेल मीत M-double-E-T थर्ड कौन है फाल्गुन ओके अनिरुद्ध चलो
Hello everyone, my name is Anirudh Tripathi. Today I am going to speak about the Thomas More, one of the most famous poets of Ireland. My group name is the Scotch Air. કવિ વિશે અને કવિતાની પૃષ્ઠભૂમિ. આ કવિતા થોમસ મૂર દ્વારા લખાઈ છે, જે આયર્લેન્ડના પ્રસિદ્ધ કવિ અને સંગીતકાર હતા. તેમનો જન્મ 1789 અને મૃત્યુ 1852 માં થયો. તેમની બાળપણની યાદો અને તેના જૂના મિત્રોની ખૂબ જ કદર હતી. તેની કવિતામાં ભાવના, સંગીત અને જીવનના અનુભવો જોવા મળે છે. તેમની રચનાઓમાં પ્રેમ, મિત્રતા, દેશપ્રેમ અને જૂના દિવસોની યાદો ખાસ જોવા મળે છે. આ કવિતાઓ તેઓ લખી હતી જ્યારે તેઓ બાળપણના દિવસોને યાદ કરતા હતા. એ સમયે તેમના ઘણા મિત્રો હવે દુનિયામાં નથી. તેથી કવિ એકલતા અને દુઃખની લાગણી વ્યક્ત કરી. કવિ પોતાના ભૂતકાળની મીઠી યાદો પર ભાવપૂર્વક કવિ બતાવે છે કે સમય બદલાય છે પણ લોકો પણ બદલાય છે, પરંતુ યાદો ક્યારેય બદલાતી નથી. થોમસ મૂર સ્વભાવમાં ખૂબ જ ભાવનાત્મક હતા અને એ જ ભાવના આ કવિતામાં સ્પષ્ટ દેખાય છે. આખરી કવિની રચના યાદો, પ્રેમ અને લાગણીઓને સુંદરતા દર્શાવે છે.
ओके चलो मीत
My name is Patel Mitra Musai of Ajax from the poem. કવિ કહે છે કે જ્યારે રાત ખૂબ જ શાંત હોય છે, બધું તૂટેલું હોય છે, ત્યારે તેમના મનમાં જૂના દિવસો આવી જાય છે. તેમને યાદ આવે છે કે જ્યારે તેઓ નાના હતા ત્યારે કેટલા ખુશ હતા, મિત્રો સાથે રમતા, હસતા બોલતા હતા, પણ હવે એ મિત્રો દૂર થઈ ગયા છે, મૃત્યુ પામ્યા છે. એટલે કવિને ખૂબ એકલતા અનુભવ થાય છે. કવિ કહે છે કે હવે ખુશીના દિવસો ફક્ત યાદોમાં જ બચ્યા છે. તેમનું હૃદય એ યાદો ભર્યું છે, પણ સાથે દુઃખ પણ છે કે એ દિવસો પાછા ક્યારે નહીં આવે. તે જીવનની તુલના એક થયેલી નાઇટ સાથે કરે છે, જે એક સમય તેજસ્વી હતી પણ ધીમે ધીમે બુજાઈ રહી છે. કવિએ સમજાય છે કે સમય બધું બદલી નાખે છે, પણ યાદો ક્યારેય ભૂલાતી નથી.
આ કવિતા આપણને કહે છે કે જીવનમાં સમય ક્યારેય સરખો નથી રહેતો. બાળપણમાં ખુશીના દિવસો, મિત્રો, પરિવાર, એક સમય પછી બધું બદલાઈ જાય છે, પણ એ દિવસોની યાદો આપણા દિલમાં હંમેશા જીવંત રહે છે. કવિ બતાવે છે કે યાદો અમૂલ્ય ખજાનો છે, જે આપણને ભૂતકાળની મીઠી અનુભૂતિ આપે છે. આ કવિતાનો સંદેશ એ છે કે આપણને હાલના પળોનો આનંદ માણવો જોઈએ, કારણ કે આવતીકાલે એ માત્ર યાદ બની જશે.
चलो ठीक है तो कविता का मतलब आप लोग क्या समझे मुझे समझे
જૂની યાદો ક્યારે ભૂલવી નહીં, યાદ કરતી રહેવી.
જૂના મિત્રોને ક્યારેય ભૂલવા નહીં.
સમય બદલાઈ જાય છે, પણ જૂની યાદો ભૂલાતી નથી.
poem is about creating good memories है ना तो आपके समय में अभी जो कुछ कर रहे हो अभी उसके समय में कैसे हम गुड मेमोरीज क्रिएट करते हैं
ફ્રેન્ડ કે સાથ ટાઈમ સ્પેન્ડ કરકે
मतलब आप घर से इतने दूर फ्रेंड के साथ spend करने आए How can we create good memories? इंसान जब सफल हो जाता है, मानो कि वो आईएएस बन गया या कुछ इंसान सफल हो गया, तो उसके लिए गुड मेमोरीज क्या होती है?
दोस्तों के साथ पढ़ के,
ऐसे साथ में प्रेजेंटेशन चाहिए
है ना तो जो रोल है आपका उस समय अगर आप वो रोल परफॉर्म करते हो दैट बिकम्स मेमोरी अभी आपकी मेमोरी बन रही है यस और नो है ना इतने दूर से आप लोग आए हो और पहली बार आपकी मेमोरी बन रही है यस और नो है ना 4-5 महीने से आप लोग बाहर थे लेकिन कोई मेमोरी नहीं बन रही है ना आप कहाँ से आए हो भाई तीनों अनिरुद्ध कहाँ से आए हो आप आप कहाँ से हो?
સાબરકાંઠા
બનાસકાંઠા, પાલનપુર.
So always try to create good memories. और मेमोरीज ही है जो आपका कैरियर बनाएगी। ओके, क्लियर फॉर देम।
पटेल नंदनी, पटेल श्रद्धा,
क्या नाम है आपका?
नंदिनी पटेल।
क्या टॉपिक है?
द स्टोरी ऑफ पान।
सेकंड कौन है?
ठाकुर निमिषा।
जोर से बोलो।
ठाकुर निमिषा।
थर्ड कौन है?
पटेल श्रद्धा।
ओके नंदिनी, गो अहेड।
Hello everyone, my name is Nandini Patel. Our group name is Alpha Achievers. Today I discuss the story of Pan. Introduction of the story. The story of Pan is written by the famous Indian author Sudha Murthy. It is taken from her well-known book Grandma's Bag of Stories. This story beautifully combines family values, culture, and wisdom through a simple and traditional Indian custom making and eating pan. It shows how even small family moments can teach big life lessons. About the characters in the story. Minor characters Vishnu Kaka. A kind and wise man who hosts the family lunch. He teaches children how to make fun and use it as a way to share an important life lesson. Grandmother. She is loving and full of wisdom. She explains the deeper meaning of fun by narrating an old story from her own grandmother. Children, including Sharon. They are curious, playful, and eager to learn. By experimenting with fun, they realize that too much or too little of anything spoils the balance, just like life. Major characters. Banu, the elder brother, responsible and caring. B, the younger brother, brave and determined to serve his country. Bharti, Banu's wife, who loves Bay like her own brother. About the author Sudhamurthy. Sudhamurthy is a well-known Indian author, philanthropist, and teacher. She writes mainly in English and Kannada. Her stories often teach moral values through simple and relatable situations. She believes in her power of storytelling to teach kindness, honesty, and respect. Good morning, everyone. My name is Nimisha. I explain the story. This is a beautiful story that highlights the importance of Indian culture and tradition even when we far away from homeland. The story begins when Sudhamurti travels about for an event after the program, and the Indian family living in that country invites her to their home for dinner. She accepted their invitation happily. When she arrives, she is warmly welcomed and served difficult Indian food. The main reminder of home, the familiar flower and hospitality that respected our culture. After finishing the meal, host offers her pan, a traditional Indian letter representation even after a go food. This small gesture surprises and delight Sudhamurti. She didn't expect to find something so traditionally Indian in a foreign country. So, at the moment, she feels emotionally because the pan brings back memories of Indian of family gathering, wedding, and celebration. It reminds her of the one and togetherness that the Indian culture always promotes. The author wants us to understand that we should never forget our roots. Small traditionally like offering pan may sound ordinary, but they carry deep emotional and cultural meaning. Thank you. moral message of the story. The story gives you a beautiful lesson. Unity and cooperation make life sweet and complete. It remembers you to value family bonds and relationships. Even small everyday things like park can teach big lessons about love, people, and balance. So the story of park is not just about food. It's about life, relationship, and value. Through her simple story, Sudhamurti shows the wisdom can be found in the most ordinary things if we look closely. Together adds flavor to life, just like integrated adds flavor to our life.
Okay, clap for them. So, कहानी को क्या समझे? What is the story about?
જેમ બધા જ પાનના બધા જ ભાગો સ્વાદિષ્ટ બને છે તેમ પરિવાર અને સમાજના સભ્યો સમજણ અને સુમેળ સાથે ત્યારે ખુશ રહે છે.
क्या करना चाहिए हमें?
परिवार के साथ अच्छे से समाज के साथ रहना चाहिए. सभी लोगों की वैल्यू होती है. कोई भी लोग ऐसे उसका महत्व होता है. जैसे टाइम में दरेक बच्चे का महत्व होता है.
Okay, बहुत अच्छा. Proceed करो. कौन है आपका फर्स्ट? तो फर्स्ट वन क्या टॉपिक है आपका?
Story of fun.
सेकंड कौन है?
That is ANC.
श्रेयांशी. सरनेम क्या है?
That is
थर्ड कौन है?
Kishori Renuka.
ओके, चलो शुरू करो रात.
નમસ્તે મિત્રો, આજે હું સુધામૂર્તિની સુંદર વાર્તા ધ સ્ટોરી ઓફ પાન પર પ્રેઝન્ટેશન આપવા જઈ રહી છું. આ વાર્તા આપણને ભારતીય સંસ્કૃતિ, આદર્શ અને માનવીય મૂલ્યો વિશે સંદેશ આપે છે. આ વાર્તાનું શીર્ષક ખૂબ અર્થસભર છે. પાન એ એવી માત્ર ખાવાની વસ્તુ નથી, પરંતુ સન્માન અને પ્રેમનું પ્રતીક છે. સુધામૂર્તિ બતાવે છે કે નાની વસ્તુઓ પણ સંસ્કાર અને લાગણી વ્યક્ત કરે છે. આ વાર્તામાં બે મુખ્ય પાત્રો છે, સુધામૂર્તિ અને એક વિદેશી મહેમાન. સુધામૂર્તિ એ વિદેશી મહેમાનને સમજાવે છે કે પાન આપણા માટે સન્માન અને પરંપરાનું પ્રતીક છે. આ વાર્તામાં ઉપપાત્રો સીધા શબ્દોમાં ન દેખાય અને સંસ્કૃતિ પરંપરાના રૂપમાં હાજર છે. ઘરના લોકો અને ભારતીય રીતિ રિવાજોને જીવંત બનાવે છે.
વાર્તાની શરૂઆત નાના ગામથી થાય છે, જ્યાં લેખિકા જાય છે અને ત્યાંના લોકોના જીવનને નિહાળે છે. ગામના લોકો દરેક પ્રસંગમાં પાન ખાતા હોય છે. ખુશી હોય કે દુઃખ, બધા જ પ્રસંગોમાં લેખિકા વિચાર કરે છે કે પાન માત્ર ખાવાની વસ્તુ નથી, પરંતુ એ સંસ્કૃતિ અને લાગણીઓનું પ્રતીક છે. વાર્તાનો મધ્ય ભાગ. ગામમાં એક વૃદ્ધ સ્ત્રી હોય છે જેને પાન ખાવાની ખૂબ આદત હોય છે. તેમને લાગે છે કે જો પાન ન ખાય તો તેમની વાત અધૂરી રહી જાય. એક દિવસ તેઓ સુધામૂર્તિને કહે છે, મને પાન વગર વાત અધૂરી લાગે છે. એટલે લેખિકા વિચાર કરે છે કે પાનનું મહત્વ શું છે. ત્યારે તેમને સમજાય છે કે પાન આપણા ભારતીય પરંપરા અને માનવીય જોડાણનું પ્રતિબિંબ છે. વાર્તાનો આ પછી લેખિકા પોતાના બગીચામાં પાનનો એક છોડ વાવે છે. તેની દેખરેખ માટે વિસુ કાકા હોય છે. ખૂબ જ પ્રેમાળ અને મહેનતુ માણસ છે. વિસુ કાકા રોજે રોજે એ છોડને પાણી આપે છે, તેની સાથે વાત કરે છે અને પ્રેમથી ઉછેરે છે. એક દિવસ વિસુ કાકા બીમાર પડે છે. બધાની સંભાળ છતાં થોડા દિવસ પછી તેનું અવસાન થઈ જાય છે. લેખિકા ખૂબ જ દુઃખી થાય છે, પરંતુ અચરજની વાત એ છે કે પાનનો છોડ હજુ પણ તંદુરસ્ત ઉગતો રહે છે. તે છોડ હવે લેખિકા વિસુ કાકાની યાદ અપાવે છે. લેખિકાને લાગતું હતું કે વિસુ કાકાની આભા આ છોડમાં વસે છે.
દરેક નાની વસ્તુઓમાં પણ મહત્વ હોય છે. તેને અવગણવું. આપણી સંસ્કૃતિ અને પરંપરાને માન આપવું જોઈએ. સહજ વસ્તુઓમાં પણ સૌંદર્ય અને અર્થ છુપાયેલો હોય છે. માનવીના દિલમાં જે ભાવ હોય એ જ સાચું સન્માન છે. વસ્તુના ભાવમાં નહીં, પરંતુ લાગણીમાં.
चलो बैठना जाना नहीं है।
વાર્તાનો અર્થ. આ વાર્તામાં સામાન્ય લાગે તેવા એક પાનના જીવનના મોટા મૂલ્યો સમજાવે છે. તે બતાવે છે કે નાના નાના વસ્તુઓ પાછળ પણ એક સંસ્કૃતિ, પરંપરા, માનવતાનો ભાવ છુપાયેલો હોય છે. પાન માત્ર ખાવા માટે નથી, પણ એ આદર, અતિથિ સન્માન અને સંસ્કૃતિનો પ્રતીક છે. પાનની વાર્તા આપણને શીખવે છે કે અતિથિ દેવો ભવ આપણા સંસ્કારનો અહેસાસ છે. માનવીએ નાની વસ્તુથી પણ કોઈને ખુશ કરી શકે છે. સાચું શિક્ષણ એ છે કે આપણે પરંપરાનું માન રાખીએ અને અન્યનું સન્માન કરીએ. આધુનિક જીવનમાં પણ ભારતીય સંસ્કૃતિની સરળતા અને સંવેદના જાળવી રાખવી જોઈએ. ધ સ્ટોરી ઓફ પાન એ માત્ર એક નાની વાર્તા નથી, પણ એક મૂલ્યવાન પાઠ છે. માનવીનું મૂલ્ય તેની લાગણી અને સંસ્કારથી માપવું જોઈએ, વસ્તુની કિંમત.
क्या समझे कहानी से आप लोग बोलो?
ભારતમાં નાની વસ્તુઓ પણ લાગણીથી છુપાયેલી
एक ही ग्रुप में अलग अलग मार्क्स हो सकते हैं। अगर आप नहीं बोलोगे तो उस तरह से मार्क्स रखूंगा मैं।
भारतीय संस्कृति
पढ़ना नहीं है पहला, एक्सप्लेन करना है मैंने। कहानी से क्या समझो? नहीं बोलना है तो फिर उस तरह से मार्क्स मिलेंगे। चलो बैठ जाओ, क्लैप कर दें हम।
पटेल जिम्मी सिद्धांत पीनल दीदी
बाकी लोग चले जाओ, चलो भूल गए। आप बोलिए वो। नहीं जाओ, छोड़े। Anuj, you want to present? Everybody? Everybody want to present? डायरेक्ट करना है ना? हाँ। चलो जाओ, शुरू कर दो।
आप सबका इस सुखद
आपका इंट्रोडक्शन तो पहले
तथा सुंदर दोपहर में इस मंच से मेरी ओर से हार्दिक स्वागत है। I welcome you all from this podium in this delightful and serene afternoon. I, Anuj Samar Kumar Ghosh, the member of the group The Transparent Paupers, am presenting you the poetry of In the Stilly Night Scotch Air. सबसे पहले हम समझते हैं कि इस शीर्षक का अर्थ क्या है. Let's understand the title of this poetry. The title says that we must recall the moments or the memories from the past in a time as well as a place which is quiet, where we can introspect and think of ourselves. We must look for the brightness in the present. We must not live in any imaginations of a future, and work diligently for a better, prospering, sparkling and psycho-flating future. हमें अपने भविष्य के विचारों में नहीं जीना है, न ही हमें अपने अतीत से परेशान होना है. हमें बस अपने वर्तमान में जीना है तथा हमें इस प्रकार कार्य करना है कि हमारा भविष्य सुखद तथा अच्छी भावनाओं से भर सके. यहाँ स्कॉच एयर पद का अर्थ है स्कॉटलैंड की हवा, जो सामान्यतः ठंडी होती है और जिसमें लोग शांति से सोच सकते हैं. Let's know about the poet right now. Thomas Moore. Now, the word Moore can be pronounced in many different ways. Some people call it Moore, some call it Moore, some call it Moore. That doesn't matter often. Thomas Moore, who was born in 1779 and dead in 1852, was an Irish poet, which means he belonged to Ireland. He was an author and playwright of the 19th century. वो नाटक लिखते थे तथा वो कहानियों को भी लिखते थे. उन्होंने कविताएं भी लिखी. He was born in a Catholic couple in Dublin, who were ruled by the British government at the time. Moore's collection of poems were supported by his affiliates, Francis Duffy, and many others. In the spotlight, Francis Rawdon Hastings had supported his poem collections. One of them is named as Epistles, Odes, and Other Poems, written in 1806. The Earl of Moira also supported it, but a person named Francis Jeffrey found some devilish elements and regarded it as a disastrous poem. He was suffering from this challenge that how to represent his poetries for inspiring people. He challenged Jeffrey for a duel and refused the post of an Irish poet due to the disapproval of his father and nativeness of Ireland. Later, he partnered with William and Jones and James Hart to write Irish song lyrics, and as a result, one of his poetries named Irish Melodies achieved a good success.
Moore wrote other several poetries which were filled with romance, satire, and horror. The poetries corruption, anapostle and intolerance, intercepted letters, the two penny post bag, written in 1813, the Fudge family in Paris, written in 1818, were filled with satire and horror and were written for the purpose of better treatment of our land. इन कविताओं को मूर ने आयरलैंड के विकास के लिए बनाया था तथा वहां के लोगों को सम्मान मिल सके तथा अच्छी तरह से उनके साथ बर्ताव किया जाए इस उद्देश्य से लिखा गया था. His reputation as a satirical poet and romanticist continued laying the eggs of ink, which means he continuously stroked his pen on the paper, consuming its ink. And he wrote fables for the Holy Alliance in 1823 and odes upon cash, corn, Catholics, and other matters in 1828. Progressing in his life, the train of page gained velocity like the seed of a silkworm. Now, this phrase is of utmost importance. यह महत्वपूर्ण पद है. The seed of a silkworm. यहाँ हमें यह पता चलता है कि जैसे कवि अपने जीवन में आगे बढ़ते गए, उनकी उम्र की रेत रफ्तार पकड़ती गई और ऐसा लग रहा था जैसे किसी पतले से धागे से छोटे छोटे बीज बाहर आ रहे हों, जो असल में उनकी यादें थी. वो अपनी यादों को साथ लेकर चल रहे थे. He worked with other literary giants of his time, like Lord Byron, and participated actively in political gatherings as a student of law in London. His poetry, which was named Lalla Rookh and written in 1817, released glorious petals of romance, since it mainly depicts romance, yet it may have other meanings also among the readers. His life is highly remembered for his contributions to the world, and especially his last years are remembered for a history of Ireland, which was written in a 12-year tenure from 1835 to 1846, which presented the acidic ashes of a British rule. हम सब ब्रिटिश राज के बारे में तो जानते ही हैं, यहाँ वो कितना अत्याचार करते गए, वहां भी बहुत अत्याचार किया. उन सबको कवि ने अपनी इस कहानी में बताया. अब हम जानते हैं कि इस कविता की संरचना कैसे हुई. How the poetry came into existence. This poetry dips our hair and brain into the colorful world of memories. हम सबके मन में स्मृतियां होती हैं. यह कविता उन्हीं स्मृतियों को हमारे मन में जगाने में सहायता करती है. Everyone always tries to recall his or her best memories, but ends up recalling worst memories, which leads to the ruining of serene smile. सुंदर मुस्कान खो जाती है जब भी बुरी यादें अचानक टपक जाती हैं. उनका जलना वैसे स्वाभाविक ही होता है. This leads to anxiety, depression, neural degradation or neural degeneration, etc. Since these memories hold us almost every attosecond, if we talk about the lowest unit of time possible, the poet himself feels empty in his time. due to loneliness. He dumps his childhood and youth into his healthy neurons so that he can taste his memories when he played with his friends as well as when he experienced love for the first time. Now he is sitting still and thinking in a stilly night about the importance of his memories, especially his good memories. He always has his best friend and dream stealer, which is not anything else but paper. With him, on which he always uses his most beloved weapons, map and pen. The paper acts like a daisy, as if it is talking to him with her sweet voice. It's time to move to the elucidation of a poetry. अब कविता को समझने का समय आ गया है. The poetry is divided into two stanzas. First one goes as follows.
Speed up a little bit.
Okay. I'll try at my own pace. It can take a little longer, but it's fine. Oft in the stilly night, our slumber's chain has bound me. Fond memory brings the light of our days around me. The smiles, the tears of boyhood's years, the words of love when spoken, the eyes that shone, now dimmed and gone, the cheerful hearts now broken. Thus, in the stilly night, our slumber's chain hath bound me. Sad memory brings the light of our days around me. Here, the poet tells us that he often gets trapped in the chain of pre-sleep. सोने से पहले की एक चेन में कभी हमेशा बंध जाया करते हैं. ऐसा उनके साथ हर रात होता है. It happens with him every night. He finds himself thinking of his good and lackable memories which take him to the past. There, he finds happiness until it reaches interested of volatility. जब तक ये स्मृतियां हट नहीं जाती, तब तक वो इनके बारे में सोचते ही जाते हैं. He picturizes them and always makes his brain understand to display signals of happiness. And the memories connected with these. He always meditates of the days when he was a child, when he used to play with his best friends, when he experienced love for the first time as an adult, when he first engaged in a social bond by expressing love, when he had the determination and sparkle of discovering new events in his life. Now, in appearance, he is a bit old. He has lost the charm of discovery, the cheer of rabbit racing. हम सब खरगोशों की तरह भागने की सोचते और भागते रहते हैं. वो इस चीज से बेहद परेशान थे. As well as he misses the melodious applaud of love, which breaks his memories filled with glitter into infinite fragments. Now, he looks at the marine sky. Here marine means dark blue. Sky is dark blue in color at night, which is filled with stars who can and do never take tension. Now, sad memories always deploy and override his fond ones, which takes him to the portion of the past when he experienced extreme accidents, and the present when he feels lonely. Accidents का अर्थ है दुर्घटना. इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि वो किसी गाड़ी से टकरा गए. लोग ऐसा सोच सकते हैं. उनके साथ व्यक्तिगत जीवन में भी बहुत सारी ऐसी घटनाएं हुई हैं जो उनको पसंद नहीं आई, जो वो नहीं चाहते कि वो स्मरण रखें. Now it's time for the second stanza. When I remember all the friends so linked together, I've seen around me fall like leaves in wintry weather. I feel like one who treads alone some banquet hall deserted, whose nuts are fled, whose garlands dead, and all but he departed. Thus, in the stilly night, our slumber stain has bound me. Sad memory brings blood of other days around me. Here, the poet now forms a picture of all his friends, particularly his best friends, when he used to play with them, yet for a temporary tenure, since they left him after 2 years. He observed that some of his friends ruined their life by involving in malicious activities or by thinking about their loneliness, just like the leaves falling in winter season. He always feels like a person who walks in his own way, celebrating his avoidance from all the social activities. He feels as if his energy has lost the most important thing, companionship. दोस्ती उनके जीवन से अब प्रस्थान कर चुकी है. He has lost his golden flowers of memories. That garland refers to his memories, which he liked to remember earlier, as well as everything else he had done. Yet he found them to be a demolishing experience for the present. He is still awake in the very night, and before going to sleep, he is again bounded by the same chain, recalls the sad memories of his life. According to him, this glows the importance of his present position. He continues conversation with his befriended brief intruder, अर्थात एक ऐसा साथी जो उनके दुख को जबरदस्ती बाहर भगा दे, और वह है पत्र, paper. Now here, he always enjoys his life. The word have, H-A-T-H, is actually an ancient form of the verb form have, which is used in various forms: has, have, had, having. Now it's time to understand the moral of the poetry as well as its meaning. We must never underestimate the power of being quiet, since quietness can sometimes lead to growth and proper parsing and innovation in a specific field of work. It can be anything. Quietness is always the key to introspection of self through scanning and healing all the bad feelings from the past memories. We also have some additional messages from the poetry, which the poet wants us to learn and implement in our life. We should always find time for a refreshing introspection. We must not pick a noisy place. We should pick a quiet place and always make our brain trick to understand that it's quiet and it must also be quiet. We must respect the past and do not live in the future imaginations. As I've stated earlier, we must flex the present and investigate our own needs. The word flex is used in a happier sense, which is enjoy. आनंद लेना चाहिए हमें अपने वर्तमान का. We must find closest partners for communication. The closest partners can be either our family members or our friends or both. We We should build a system of good memories by creating an account of accountable deeds. हमें जिम्मेदारी वाले कार्य करने चाहिए जिससे हम अपनी स्मृतियों को सुधार सकें। यह कार्य जो इस समय किया जा रहा है जिम्मेदारी वाला कार्य है, इससे भी अच्छी स्मृतियां हमेशा तैयार होती हैं। We should build a strong foundation for upcoming memories by accepting failures and behaving transparently with everyone. हमें सबके साथ पारदर्शिता दिखाते हुए व्यवहार करना चाहिए तथा अपनी भूल को स्वीकार करना चाहिए। इससे हम अपनी आने वाली अच्छी स्मृतियों के लिए एक मजबूत नींव खड़ी कर सकते हैं। आप सबका बेहद धन्यवाद।
Would you clap for Anuj? How do you feel after the presentation?
I feel very confident after this presentation.
Okay, sit down. Who is the first one? Second name? Okay, Pinu, begin.
Respectively, sir and my dear friends. First of all, good afternoon to one and all present here. So, I am Tina and my friend Nidhi, and our group name is Passionate Parrots. So, today we are here to represent the small but a deep meaning poem, which is named as a Fire and Ice, which is written by a famous American poet. So, let's begin with the about of the poet. As you know, the poet's name is Robert Frost, who was born in 1874 and died in 1963. He was a famous American poet. He was born on March 26, 1874 in San Francisco, California. He has written many famous poems like The Road Not Taken, Stopping by Wood on a Snowy Evening, Mending Wall, Bridges, etc. He was awarded for Pulitzer Prize for 4 times. He was known for his use of traditional forms and rural settings. Now, let's begin the detailed explanation of poem. So, our first stanza is about that some says the world will end in a fire, some says in ice. From what I have tasted of desire, I thought I hold with those say favor fire. So, in this poem, the first stanza explains that the poet wants to convey that some says that the world will end in fire and some says that it will end with the ice. Here, the fire means the desire. Desire means the deep thoughts or our emotions which cannot be controlled by human beings generally. And there is a second word, ice, which means a hatred. So, from that, I have tasted of desire that the poet wants to tell that from the poet's view, from the poet's experience, poet tells us that the world will end with fire. So there is a one alliteration, favor and fies. Just like alliteration is a meaning that it is like one poetic device, which means there is a consonant sound repetition. Just like there is a F and F. So now turn to the second stanza. The second stanza is, but if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of it to say that for destructive eyes, it's also great and would suffice. It explains that in this stanza, poet thinks that if the world had to end twice, ice would also be able to destroy it completely. For the poet, ice means hatred and is as powerful as fire, which makes desire. As you know the meaning of the desire, in human beings, hatred is long lasting. It remains through the life. Thus, poet thinks that ice or hatred will be sufficient to bring an end of this world. Now, the short summary of the poem is the poem explores two powerful forces that could bring about the end of the world, fire and ice. The poem discusses deep human emotions in a very simple way. Through just a few lines, Frost makes us think about the possible ways the world might end either in flames or by freezing. The poem symbolically explains how human feelings like uncontrolled desire and deep hatred can be just as destructive as natural forces. If we do not control them, they can destroy relationship, peace, and even the world. Now let's discuss some questions.
So, as I thought our friends are very smart, so let's take some questions here. Do you think that opposite can exist or coexist? Anyone? So let me explain this. That yes, opposite can definitely coexist. That here in this poem there is a one example fire and ice, but we have another like sun and moon. They both are different. Rises and rises at their own time. So there is a sun. Sun means that day brings energy, and the moon that anyone who come from whole day work at the night and want a peace that the night given us. There is a one poem in Hindi literature. There is a दिन जल्दी जल्दी ढलता है. It explains the what we want to explain about the moon, the night. Second one is happiness and sadness. They both are of course opposite. And the third one, we of course relate this because we are students. There is a success and failure. So now let's move to second question.
Can you connect elements of nature to human emotions? Can you connect? Yes, nature and human emotions are deeply connected. Let's explore how different elements of nature relate to human emotions in real life individually. First, sunlight. Sunlight have its own emotions, hope, joy, positivity. When someone recovers from illness or depression, stepping outside and feeling the warm sun can feel like life itself returning, symbolizing light after darkness. Some other examples are like wind. Wind have its emotions like change, freedom, uncertainty, and fire. Fire has passion, anger, and transformation. Trees has patience, growth, and stability. Ocean has deep calmness and overwhelm. And there are some other examples also in our daily life.
So now let's see the moral of this poem. So the indirectly poet wants to convey the message that how to control or how to learn to control the emotions of our humans and do not confuse between our desires and feeling which is actually essential and the destructive nature of emotions like hatred or desire and making the right choice with the importance of freedom and empathy. Thank you so much guys.
Okay, for them. Okay, so primarily, what are the ways to control the emotion according to you?
We can do meditation, selfness classes or it's very easy to control ourselves but it is difficult how it is. That's the reason.
Very good. Sit down.
ભૂમિકા પ્રેમિશા
Come on, speed up.
Good afternoon, everyone. Our presentation topic is the story me, Premisha Prasad, and my friend Desai Bhumika. The title refers to the simple better leaf, pan, symbol of Indian culture and emotion. It shows that even small everyday things can have deep meaning. I think that also represents that love, care, and tradition in Indian home. The story of B. Bhanu Bharti centers around identity, human emotion. It showcases the strength of characters who face struggle yet determined uphold their beliefs. Sudha Murthy recalls her childhood memories with her grandmother. Her grandmother made pan daily with love and patience. Offering pan was symbol of respect. It teaches how small acts in life can express love and values also. Pan is not just food but a culture symbol. It shows affection, care, and unity in families. The traditional reflects how emotions are attached to simple rituals.
The story is simple yet emotional. What seemed like a story about an ordinary leaf turns into reminder of love, family bonds, and tradition. The real twist is not in action, but in understanding the reader realizes that the story is not truly about the fact, but about the emotion and culture attached to it. It shows how something small can carry great meaning when seen for love and respect. The moral of the story is the true beauty lies in a simplicity and a tradition. We should respect our culture, elders, and small things that bring love, unity in life. The story reminds us that the small rituals have a big meaning. Pan represent love, kindness, and culture. It teaches the beauty in ordinary things and carry forward tradition with respect.
Put a clap for them. Okay, what is the message according to you in the story?
Like જેવી રીતે પાંચ હતા ઇન્ગ્રેડિયન્ટ્સ એકબીજા સાથે એ પાનને પરફેક્ટ બનાવે છે એવી રીતે ફેમિલીમાં લવ કાઇન્ડનેસ હોવું બી જરૂરી છે અને પાન એક એવી વસ્તુ છે જે આપણી ટ્રેડિશન કેરી કરે છે તો એના માટે બી આપણા કલ્ચરની રિસ્પેક્ટ કરવી જોઈએ અને
Okay, sit down.
Next, yes, Arshad.
Who is the first one?
Yes.
What is the effect? Okay.
Night angle and the rose. What's the one?
Second one.
Arshad Civil.
Third one. Benin. Okay, yes, okay.
Hello everyone. My name is Satvara. Yes, my group name is the Indians. My story name is Night Angle and the Rose by Oscar Wilde. मैं आपको शीर्षक और पात्रों के बारे में बताऊंगा। बुलबुल प्रेम, बलिदान और सुंदरता का प्रतिनिधित्व करती है। कहानी में पक्षी सच्चे प्यार में विश्वास करता है। गुलाब प्रेम का प्रतीक है, लेकिन यह भी है कि प्रेम कितना नाजुक और कभी-कभी अप्रशंसित हो सकता है। शीर्षक एक ऐसी कहानी का सुझाव देता है जो प्रेम और प्रेम के उद्देश्य के लिए दिए गए बलिदान के बारे में है। अब मुख्य पात्र छात्र, एक युवा व्यक्ति जो अपनी प्रेमिका को देने के लिए लाल गुलाब बनाता है। लड़की, वह छात्र के प्यार को खारिज कर देती है और उसके उपहार का अस्वीकार कर देती है। बुलबुल एक ऐसी पक्षी है जो सच्चे प्यार में विश्वास करता है और लाल गुलाब बनाने के लिए अपने जीवन का बलिदान देता है। गुलाब के पेड़, वो बुलबुल से बात करते हैं और समझाते हैं कि लाल गुलाब कैसे बनाया जा सकता है। आगे मेरा पार्टनर बोलूँगा। हेलो एवरीवन, मैं आपको कहानी के बारे में बताऊंगा। एक युवा छात्र है जो एक लड़की से प्यार करता है। वो जो प्रोफेसर की बेटी होती है, वो उसे कहती है कि अगर जो उसे गुलाब का फूल ला कर देगी तो उसके साथ नृत्य करेगी। अब वो लड़का अपने बगीचे में गुलाब का फूल ढूंढने के लिए जाता है।
लेकिन उसे केवल सफेद और पीले गुलाब के फूल ही दिखते हैं, कोई लाल गुलाब का फूल उसे नहीं दिखता। ये सब पेड़ पर बैठे हुए एक बुलबुल देख रही है और उसे मदद करने की इच्छा होती है। वह लाल गुलाब की तलाश में उड़ती है, लेकिन हर गुलाब का पेड़ उसे कहता है कि अभी कोई लाल गुलाब का जो फूल है वो अभी कोई नहीं खिला पाया। आखिरकार एक पुराना गुलाब का पेड़ है उसे बताता है कि लाल गुलाब का जो फूल है केवल एक ही तरीके से बनाया जा सकता है। वो कहता है कि तुम्हें इसे चांदनी से, संगीत से बनाना होगा और इसे अपने दिल के खून से रंगना होगा। बुलबुल समझती है कि इसका मतलब है कि अपना जीवन बलिदान करना होगा। उसे रात भर गाते हुए अपने दिल को एक कांटे से दबाना होगा ताकि उसका खून गुलाब को उसका लाल रंग दे सके। वह मान जाती है, यह मानते हुए कि प्रेम जीवन से अधिक कीमती है। उस रात वह गाती है जब कांटा उसके दिल को छेदता है, उसका गीत और अधिक सुंदर हो जाता है, जबकि वह मर नहीं जाती और एक परिपूर्ण लाल गुलाब खिल जाता है। सुबह वह लड़का गुलाब लेकर उस लड़की के पास जाता है और तब वो लड़की अपनी कृतज्ञता व्यक्त करती है, उस गुलाब के फूल को अस्वीकार कर देती है। वो कहती है कि चैम्बरलैंड के भतीजे ने उसे गहने गिफ्ट किए हैं जो फूल से कहीं मूल्यवान है। छात्र दुखी होकर गुलाब को सड़क पर फेंक देता है, जहाँ एक गाड़ी उसे कुचल देती है। मुंह बंद होकर वह कहता है कि प्यार एक मूर्खतापूर्ण चीज है और अपनी पढ़ाई पर वापस चला जाता है। इस बात पर ऑस्कर वाइल्ड ने अपनी थीम बताई कि बलिदान और सतेजपन पर उन्होंने कहा है, बुलबुल सच्चे प्यार के लिए अपनी जान दे देती है, लेकिन उसके आसपास इंसान, लड़की और छात्र खुदे और स्वार्थी। वाइल्ड आदर्श प्रेम की तुलना मानवीय प्रेम से करते हैं। वो विडंबना के बारे में कहते हैं कि बुलबुल किसी भी इंसान से ज्यादा प्यार की शक्ति में विश्वास करती है, फिर भी वह उन लोगों के लिए मर जाती है जो उनके बलिदान को नहीं समझ सकते। और लास्ट में वाइल्ड कहते हैं, कला और पीड़ा पे वाइल्ड का सुझाव है कि महान सुंदरता और कला अक्सर दर्द और बलिदान से आते हैं। आगे का मेरा पार्टनर आपको बताएगा।
ऑस्कर वाइल्ड की कहानी द नाइटिंगेल एंड द रोज का नैतिक सार सच्चे प्यार का त्याग और भौतिकवादी प्रेम के सतीत्व के विपरीत विषयों पर केंद्रित है। बुलबुल उस छात्रों के लिए एक लाल गुलाब बनाने के लिए जीवन का बलिदान करके शुद्ध निस्वार्थ प्रेम का प्रतिनिधित्व करती है, जो अपनी प्रेमिका का स्नेह जीतने के लिए जीता है। भक्ति का यह अंतिम कार्य यह दर्शाता है कि सच्चे प्यार के लिए त्याग और निस्वार्थता की आवश्यकता होती है। हालांकि वाइल्ड इस शुद्ध प्रेम की तुलना छात्र के और तुरंत रवैये से करते हैं। साथ ही व्यक्ति द्वारा एक धनी प्रेमी से मिलने गहनों के पक्ष में गुलाब की भौतिकवादी रूप से अस्वीकार करने से भी करते हैं। यह इस बात पर प्रकाश डालता है कि कैसे स्वार्थ और भौतिकवाद के कारण सच्चे प्यार को नजरअंदाज किया जा सकता है, किया जाता है या तुच्छ बनाया जा सकता है। अंत में छात्र गुलाब को फेंक देता है और पढ़ाई पर ध्यान केंद्रित करने का फैसला करता है। कहानी के बिल्कुल और दुखद दृष्टिकोण पर जोर देता है कि प्यार के अक्सर सराहा नहीं जा सकता और यह अनुचित होता है। संक्षेप में कहानी सिखाती है कि सच्चे प्यार में महान त्याग और दिल की पवित्रता शामिल होती है, लेकिन यह भी चेतावनी होती है कि ऐसे प्यार को उस दुनिया में नजरअंदाज या शोषण किया जा सकता है जो सच्ची भावना से अधिक दिखावे और धन को महत्व देती है। वाइल्ड की कहानी निस्वार्थ प्रेम की महानता को संतजन और मानवीय सत्य और हृदय की आलोचना देता है।
So what is भौतिकवादी प्रेम? तो प्रेजेंटेशन करके कैसा लगा?
सब गुड है, कॉन्फिडेंट।
ओके, चलो बैठ जाओ। नेक्स्ट ग्रुप।
शैलेश विकास हर्षद सुरेंद्र जयदेव जयपाल सागर सतीश आदित्य गणेश हर्षिल जयराज जयपाल विश्वनाथ
बाकी है जी। चलो चलो काम करो। क्या नाम है आपका?
पटेल शिवांगी।
शिवांगी। आपका नाम?
पटेल चांदनी।
चार्मी। आपका?
पटेल एमी।
ओके चलो शिवांगी शुरू करो।
Good afternoon, everyone. Today we are going to listen on one of Robert Frost's most famous poem, Fire and Ice. About the poem, Robert Frost. Robert Frost was born on March 26, 1874 in San Francisco, California, and he died in 1923. Although born in the city, he spent most of his life in the countryside of New England, and that rural background deeply influenced his poetry. He is one of the most beloved American poets of the 20th century. What makes Frost special is that he used simple language and rural setting, but his poem carry deep philosophical meaning about life, human emotion, and moral choice. Frost's major themes include nature as a reflection and human emotion, isolation and connection, mending wall, life, death, and human story, stopping life roots on a snowy evening. Frost received 4 Pulitzer Prize for poetry and outstanding achievement, and he was even invited to recite a poem at the of President John F. Kennedy in 1961. So Robert Frost is not just a poet but also a thinker and philosopher, teaching life lessons through short, beautiful verses. Background of the poem. The poem Fire and Ice was written in 1920, shortly after World War I. This was a time when people were questioning humanity's future after seeing so much destruction, hatred, and greed. Scientists were also debating how the world might physically end. Some said it could end in fire through the sun burning out an explosion, while others said ice the world freezing over. Frost took these scientific debate and give it a human and emotional meaning. He said the world could and not only physical fire or ice but through human emotion. Fire represents desire, passion, greed and uncontrolled emotion. Ice represent hatred, indifference, cruelty, and coldness of heart. The poem first appeared in the magazine Harper's in 1920 and was later included in his collection in Hampshire in 1923. In short, the background combines scientific curiosity, social reflection, and emotional philosophy, making fire and ice both simple and universal.
Explanation of the poem. Fire and Ice is one of Frost's shortest poems, only 9 lines long, but it expresses a profound truth about human nature. The poet presents two symbols, fire and ice, representing two human emotions that can lead to destruction. Fire, human desire, passion, and greed. Uncontrolled desire consumes people, nations, and the world. Ice means hatred, coldness, and indifference. Sometimes cold silence or cruelty can destroy more slowly than fire. Here's the line by line explanation of the poem. Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. Frost begins with two opposing ideas about how the world will end. Fire and ice are scientific and emotional. Fire stands for
passion and desire. Ice for hatred and indifference. From what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. The poet says he understands the power of desire. It spreads quickly and consumes everything, just like fire. Human greed, anger, and passion can destroy societies and relationships. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough to hate. Frost imagines if the world were to end twice, he would choose ice the second time. He has seen enough hatred and emotional coldness in the world to know that it can also bring destruction. To say that for destruction, ice is also great and would suffice. Hatred may act more slowly than fire, but it's equally powerful. Cold-headedness, cruelty, and indifference can freeze relationships, communities, and even humanity itself.
Okay, any जवाब करोगे?
Of the poem. The poem symbolizes the two major emotions that can produce destruction. Fire, uncontrolled desire, greed, lust, and anger. Ice, hatred, indifference, emotional goodness, and apathy. Frost suggests that both emotions exist in every human being. When desire burns too much, it leads to conflict and choice. When hatred freezes the hearted, it leads to violence and disconnection. Moral of the poem. Human emotion must be balanced, neither extreme passion nor complete goodness in good. Too much desire leads to destruction, too much hatred fuels decay. Its warning
Okay,
is
चलो मुझे बताओ पोएम से क्या समझे आप?
જરૂર નહીં કે જે વસ્તુ આપણે જે દરેક વસ્તુ આપણે ઈચ્છીએ એ આપણને મળે તો એની માટે તૈયાર રહેવું જોઈએ.
आपका नाम चार्ली है? हाँ. पूरे दिन सीढ़ियों पर बैठ के मोबाइल पे क्या बातें करते रहती हो? बैठ जाओ चलो. चलो नेक्स्ट ग्रुप. Who is the next group? क्या नाम है आपका?
चावड़ा विश्वराज सिंह.
चावड़ा विश्वराज. आपका?
रावल धर्मजीत सिंह.
धर्मजीत.
धर्मजीत सिंह.
धर्मजीत.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are the Lord Peters, and today we are here to give a fun twist to Sudhamurti's story, the story of Pan. The story of Pan, a beautiful short story written by Sudhamurti, one of the Indian most loved author and storytellers. The story reflects a simple yet powerful style of writing that often connects deeply with Indian culture and value. The story of Pan talks about how the tradition of eating pan or bitter leaf began blending with culture and human emotion is unwavering way. Through this tale, Sudhamurti not only entertains us but also makes us think about the beauty of Indian tradition and how they are rooted in love, gratitude, and respect. A story telling reminds us that even the simplest thing in our daily life often have deep meaning and fascinating organism. Sudhamurti, the story of one is folk tale about two devoted brothers and one's grieving wife. After a tragedy, the parents.
The moral of the Sudhamurti story of Pan is the true love and loyalty and family unity and invaluable in everlasting. The meaning of the Sudhamurti story of Pan is the explanation of the importance of family loves and sacrifice by personified in the ingredients of Pan and better live and in the story of peace that those invisible bonds are the what create something beautiful and meaningful in life. The message of the story of Pan is the love and sacrifice and unity and loyalty, memory and
चलो क्लैप कर दें हम. नेक्स्ट ग्रुप कौन है? Okay, you can begin.
Respected sir and my dear classmates, good afternoon. My name is Sayyed Aisha. Today, our group, Rose and Rhythm, is going to present a deeply emotional and symbolic story of Oscar Wilde, The Nightingale and the Rose. ये सिर्फ एक कहानी नहीं है, ये है प्रेम, त्याग और इंसानी स्वार्थ की कहानी. A story that touches the soul and breaks the heart. Content. In this presentation, we will explore the author's life, the storyline, main themes, main characters, and the beautiful yet heartbreaking message behind this tale. आप देखेंगे कैसे एक छोटी सी बुलबुल अपना सब कुछ दे देती है बस एक लाल गुलाब के लिए जो उसके लिए प्रेम का प्रतीक है. About the author. ऑस्कर वाइल्ड एक इंग्लिश पोएट और प्लेराइट थे, known for his wit, beauty of expression and social criticism. The Nightingale and the Rose उनकी कलेक्शन The Happy Prince and Other Tales का हिस्सा है. इस स्टोरी के जरिए वाइल्ड दिखाते हैं कि दुनिया में लोग पैसा, लॉजिक और अपीयरेंस को ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंस देते हैं और सच्चा प्रेम समझ ही नहीं पाते. Introduction to the story and main theme. The story begins with a young student who believes he is in love. He wants to give a red rose to a girl so that she will dance with him at the prince's ball. पर उसके गार्डन में एक भी लाल गुलाब नहीं होता. And his heart is filled with sorrow, love, sacrifice, and the contrast between idealism and reality. यही इस स्टोरी की मेन थीम्स है.
The student cries for want of a red rose, and he feels that without love, his life is meaningless. Next, the nightingale's perspective. Near the student's garden lives a little nightingale. एक छोटी सी बुलबुल जो सच्चे प्रेम में विश्वास करती है. When she sees the student cries, she says softly, "Here indeed is a true lover, for her love is holy." प्यार सोना या हीरा नहीं होता कि जो पैसे देकर खरीदा जा सके. प्यार एक भावना है, एक इमोशन है. But other creatures, the lizard and the butterfly, laugh at her. The search begins. The white rose tree. The nightingale decides to help him. She flies to the white rose plant and asks, "Give me a red rose." But the tree replies, "No, I have no red rose. I have only white rose. My roses are white as sea foam and whiter than snow upon the mountain." White symbolize innocence. सुंदरता तो है पर जुनून नहीं. The yellow rose. Then she goes to the yellow rose tree and again asks, "Give me a yellow rose." And the rose says, "No, I have no rose. No rose. Red rose. I have only yellow rose." Yellow rose represents beauty and wealth. सुंदर है पर निष्क्रिय, without feeling. यहाँ भी उसे कुछ नहीं मिलता. The final rose tree and trees of love. Finally, she reaches the red rose tree beneath the student's window. The tree says, "There is only one way to get a red rose. You must build it out of music,
by moonlight and stain it with your heart's blood. बुलबुल थोड़ा अंदर से घबराती है पर तुरंत कहती है कि लव बेटर है लाइफ से, लव इज बेटर देन लाइफ। और यही उसका निर्णय है, अपनी जान देकर एक गुलाब को बनाना। The Nightingale decision, she accepts the condition and she says, what is the heart of God compared to the heart of man? ये लाइन बहुत पावरफुल है क्योंकि वो इंसानी प्रेम के लिए अपनी जिंदगी दांव पर लगाती है, पर जिसके लिए वो मर रही है उसे उसका क्या समझ ही नहीं आएगा। The student's misunderstanding. The student hears the nightingale singing and says, she sings so beautifully, but she means nothing. वो उसके गीत का अर्थ नहीं समझ पाता क्योंकि उसके पास किताबों का ज्ञान है, दिल का नहीं। This is wild's deepest message. Knowledge without emotion is empty.
The Nightingale's sacrifice. That night, under the silver moon, the nightingale presses her breast against a thorn and sings her final song. As she sings, the thorn pierces her deeper, her blood flows into the rose, petal by petal. The rose slowly turns crimson red, the color of passion, the color of life, and the color of death. उसका हर धुन एक दुआ बन जाता है फॉर ट्रू लव, और सुबह होने से पहले वो हमेशा के लिए चुप हो जाती है। The rose is rejected. At dawn, the students find the red rose and cries with joy. He plucks it and runs to the girl. Look, the most beautiful rose in the world. But she rejects it, saying it's not as valuable as the jewels another man sent me. That rose burns from sacrifice and blood. गिर जाता है जमीन पे और रथ के पहियों तले कुचल दिया जाता है। प्रेम का फूल दुनिया के पैरों तले। The tragic irony. Broken hearted, the student says, love is silly, logic is better. And he goes back to his books. While यहाँ सबसे बड़ा व्यंग्य दिखाते हैं, एक पक्षी मर गई पर इंसान बदला नहीं। The nightingale gave her life for the idea of love, and yet the world remained cold, materialistic, and selfish. This is the tragedy. सच्चा प्रेम मर गया और समझ पैदा ही नहीं। So now it's time for a conclusion. So throughout the Nightingale and the Rose, Oscar Wilde teaches us that love is not about getting, it is about giving. प्रेम लेने का नहीं, देने का नाम है। The Nightingale's sacrifice reminds us that real love is selfless, pure, and eternal, even if the world fails to understand it. So here we finish our presentation. Thank you so much for listening.
Clap for them. Okay, what is the difference between the love of a girl, love of a boy, and love of a
लव ऑफ द बॉय ये है कि वो एक इंसान से प्यार करता है, एक, और लव ऑफ द तो उसे समझ नहीं पाता ही ज्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है अकॉर्डिंग टू लव, और एक फूल।
और जो नाइटिंगेल है वो हर तरीके से इमोशंस को जानता है। वो ये समझता है कि प्यार ही सब कुछ होता है दुनिया में, लेकिन जो लड़का है वो एक इंसान, अभी हाल जस्ट किसी ने बोला था फिजिकल लव, जो एक इंसान, यस ऑफ कोर्स, वो किसी इंसान के प्रति उसका प्रेम था, एक लड़की का। और जो गर्ल है उसका प्रेम है जस्ट फॉर कि संपत्ति मिले।
Okay, चलो, thank you very much. Next group, चलो फटाफट।
बादशाह की घड़ी
क्या नाम है आपका? कृपा। आपका? साक्षी। आपका? शुरू करो।
Good afternoon, all of you. My name is Deepa Paradia and she is Sakshi and she is Drashti. Our group name is Study Sport. Today we are trying to explain the poem of Fire and Ice. Meaning of the title Fire and Ice. Fire means desire and ice means hatred. So the title Fire and Ice reflects the two opposing but equally destructive human emotions. One burning with passion and other one freezing with hatred. About the author, Fire and Ice was written by the American poet Robert Lee Frost, who drew deep inspiration from nature. During his lifetime, he received many honors, including Pulitzer Prizes and Congressional Gold Medal. His poems are seemingly simple, but they evoke complex human behavior and emotions. His poems are naturally imaginary, but have a deeper message. Some of his other poems, like Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening, The Road Not Taken, and Mending Wall, explores the themes of change, life, and society. About the poem. Here, the poem reflects the poet's thoughts on how the world might end either by fire or by ice. According to the poet, fire stands for desire and ice stands for hatred. The poem uses these natural elements to symbolize destructive human emotions. My name is Sakshi and I will explain the poem. So in this poem, poet is using two words, two elements, fire and ice, and is predicting that with these two elements, the world will destroy. In the first stanza, poem says, some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. For from what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who fear fire. In the first stanza, poet discuss about the two point of view of two group of people. Some people, the one group says that the world will end in fire, and other group says that the world will end in ice. At first thought, we think that the poet is talking about the real fire like the forest fire that will destroy the world, and the real ice like snowstorm or something that can destroy the world. But the poet has deep meaning for the word fire and ice. According to the poet, fire stands for desire or the passionate emotion of the human beings. Again, we can make two different meanings for the word fire. First is for the human desire. Like for our luxurious lifestyle, we are hardening the nature by cutting trees or polluting the environment. At point when earth can't bear it, it will destroy. In other ways, also can say that we humans have the passionate emotions like ambition, greed, rage, fury that can lead to war, violence, and social collapse that can destroy the world. The second word is ice. The word ice stands for the cold emotions of the human beings like hatred. That can also be the
Okay, sir, you can begin now.
Hello everyone, I will explain the moral of the poem. The moral lesson of fire and ice is that both uncontrolled passion मतलब हमारी गहरी इच्छा और deep hatred मतलब हमारी नफरत दूसरे के प्रति can lead to destruction मतलब दुनिया को खत्म कर सकती है. It teaches us to control our emotion, desire, anger before they can destroy relationship, peace or even the world. मतलब हमें हमारी इच्छाओं को कंट्रोल करना सीखना चाहिए, नहीं तो हमें पूरी दुनिया भस्म होते हुए दिख जाएगी. Robert Frost wants us to understand that it's not natural forces that threaten the world. It's human. मतलब हम ही है जो दुनिया को खत्म कर सकते हैं. If the people allow desire, greed or hatred to grow unchecked, मतलब हमें पता चले हम ऐसे इमोशंस को ग्रो करने देंगे, तो it leads to an end.
हमें इस पोएम से एनकरेजमेंट मिलती है कि हमें अपने ऊपर सेल्फ कंट्रोल करना चाहिए, बैलेंस बिटवीन लव एंड रीजन, मतलब कोई भी कारण, कोई भी बात के पीछे कोई कारण हो सकता है, उसके सिवा किसी को नफरत नहीं करनी चाहिए, अवॉइडेंस ऑफ हेट्रेड एंड
ओके दृष्टि, चलो ठीक है। नेक्स्ट ग्रुप, clap for them. What is your name?
उन्नति आचार्य।
आपका नाम?
प्रियंका वर्मा।
आपका? ओके, चलो शुरू करो ना।
Good afternoon, everyone. Name of poem of In the Starry Night. Book name Golden Memories. I am Acharya Unnati. Talk about poem. Poet Thomas Moore. The poem of In the Starry Night was written by Thomas Moore. Does not have the same zest and his bright eyes have lost their radiance. The speaker's life was once filled with excitement and friends, but now even their memories feel empty. He mentioned that his sad memories serve as a contact, lighting up his present with memories of the past. The poet describes the experience of a lonely, quiet night, warmed up by the memories of a better past.
Okay, Priyanka, शुरू करो।
I am explain of the poem. Thomas More of In the Starry Night is a reflective and nostalgic poem that expresses the poet's deep sense of loss and loneliness as he looks back on his life. In the quiet moments of the night when everything is still, memories from the past return to his mind. He recalls the joyful days of childhood, the love of family, and the laughter of friends who have now passed away or drifted apart. These memories, though sweet, bring him sorrow because they remind him of how much time have changed.
Okay, सब शुरू करो।
Meaning of this poem, the sitting of reflection, the speaker describes how often in the quiet, still night just before he fell asleep, his mind is flooded with a fond memory of the past, specifically the night of other days, nostalgia and boredom. The first stanza focuses on bittersweet memories of his youth, recalling the nights, tears, words of love, and the eyes that shone. However, these happy recalls the recollection quickly turned so cold as he notes that.
Okay, clap for them. So now is the next one after the break. चलो फटाफट। What is your first name? What is your name? Yes.
Raji Sandeep Bharani.
प्राची।
Raji.
आपका नाम?
Anjali. Anjali Thakur.
आपका नाम?
Anjali Balanda. Anjali Balanda.
Okay, शुरू करो।
Hello everyone, my name is Raji Sanjay Majani. Our group name is the Pan Baby. The title of the story of Pan. About the story. The story of Pan is taken from Grandma Bag of Stories. And it taken about how Pan is taken and the way it is and the story behind it, its ingredients. Aji or the grandmother explain how pan tastes good only
when the ingredients are used in the right amount. She tells the children that pan is more than delicious. It represents the bond between loved ones. While narrating.
Okay, Anjali, आप शुरू करो.
My name is Anjali. I will say you all the plot of the story. I will start. I start. Vishnu Kaka had invited the entire family for dinner. It was a lavish meal with many courses. Every at their field, enjoying each dish. After it was over, the children gathered around Kaka as he brought out his big box of pan. They loved watching Kaka choose and mix his ingredients to make delicious pans with the grown-ups the at which blissful looks on their faces. He explained to the children a pan contains betel leaf, betel nut and lime. But we should use only so much of its ingredients, only then will it taste good. All seven children wanted to try this experiment on their own. Some of them chewed on only the leaf. Some
Okay, Anjali, आप शुरू करो.
Story moral. The story teaches people and value of love, unity, and loyalty. The deep love and loyalty between Bhanu, Bharti, and Deep, which last even after their death. Pan is not just a food item, but is a symbol of the story of unity and dedication of loving family.
चलो very good. आप बेटा आप चलो. क्या नाम है आपका? You're from group B, right?
हाँ.
शुरू करो.
Hello everyone, today I am going to explain you the nightingale and the rose. About the author, Oscar Wilde was the Irish poet. He was born in 1854 and 90s. He was a poet, playwright, and a popular writer. In his story, he increases the emotional thought in his story with a moral context. Explaining the story, once upon a time there was a younger student who was commanded of love. He one day learned about going to the princess well, which was helped to her next
Directly come to the message.
moral. Sometimes people are not appreciate and understand about the sacrifice and true love, and they are born into the materialistic world.
Okay, चलो sit down. No, very good. चलो. Stopping करो, सागर.